a W in front of it. It's witch reduction.
Oh, winch reduction.
Oh God, that's hilarious! I can't believe. Okay, well, I was actually testing everybody else, and nobody else noticed. So.
Oh, I passed.
Roll deception at a disadvantage
Fuck.
because you're full of it.
I'm gonna roll it off of your character sheet there, Rick. That's actually what I'm gonna do.
You can try.
Before we go, character sheet, disadvantage, and deception. Bam.
Oh, he's still.
What?
Damn it. What is
Russian.
How? Yo, he just got a rigged character sheet.
Apparently,
I'm
Jesus.
kind of mad. He's gonna take all the good rolls, and we're gonna be left with a bunch of ones back to back.
I mean, I got a pretty good roll on my stealth act.
Look at me. I am the Witcher now.
This is just gonna be a game of exclusively good rolls.
Well, now
Hey,
we're fine.
I'll have it.
Yeah, I'll take it.
We're dead meat.
So, all right. So, as you guys are walking away now, that's up to an hour. You can maintain concentration for them to be invisible, Bran. Is your plan to I don't know, bring them to the pub for a couple of drinks, or heading straight out of town? Where is it? What's the direction? Do you want to bring them immediately?
Probably
Never
straight
mind.
out of town to the nearest other town, honestly.
Absolutely. So you guys start walking your direction out of town, making your way. I imagine you intend to keep them invisible for the whole walk, at least for a while.
Yeah. I'll be mumbling to myself so they can sort of follow along.
When are we invisible the whole time?
Yeah,
Currently,
like an hour.
Yeah, it's going to be an hour, but I'm going to have something happen prior to the hour ending. Why? What's up, Leonard?
Oh, I was gonna stop before we left and start a conversation about something.
Wait, can we get my
Sure.
lady friend, the lady guard friend?
Well,
You
okay,
guys can
so-
have all these conversations while we're walking. So I imagine Bran starts just immediately, just starts walking off in a direction you guys are following because he's the one that came to get you. But after even 100 feet or so, a little bit more, let's say 100 yards. So you're out of earshot of the guards or whatever. Imagine this is when Leonard realizes, oh, we're heading straight out of town. Go ahead.
Yeah. Mage.
Yes.
You mind if I talk to you for a second? What is
Sure,
your
and
name?
I'll stop. My name is Bran. I figured introductions would wait until we're not inside a prison camp.
Well, that's a good name.
All seriousness aside, we need to go back. There's something we need to do before I can leave. And I know it's not probably very nice to do this as soon as you rescued us, but I'm a witcher, and when I take money, I have to finish my job. I hope you understand.
What, do you want to go back and cut more trees?
There's reports of a beast in this town. That's the entire reason I came here to begin with. I actually just recently killed one of my contacts in my paycheck, but regardless, we need to go to a certain man's home, and I need to investigate something.
Right, and how are you
If I
planning
find
to do
Craig there,
that
we can leave.
without any weaponry, any equipment?
I'm hoping he left something for us. I'm hoping he was smarter than your average bear. Or wolf, depending on the school. Regardless, do I know what was the guy's name again? Was it Max?
Correct.
Max? Okay. Do I know where his house is?
Yes, because you had time to investigate and all that stuff prior.
Okay. Do I know where we are?
Yes, you do. You can roll me a survival or nature check with advantage. Or if you prefer, an intelligence flat roll if that's better for you. Nature is intelligence, survival's wisdom. So actually either of those your call.
Well, nature you said? Or okay, I'll do nature.
Yep. With
With
advantage. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you're pretty sure you know exactly how to get to his house. It's actually the way that you were heading straight out of town here. It wasn't past his house, but it was nearby. So if you were heading, northeast out of town, he was actually straight north. You know what I mean?
Okay. So we need to travel straight north. I can show you the building when we get there. There's definitely something there I need to find. I'm just not quite sure what it is yet.
We can walk by there on the way out, I suppose. Just understand that we're currently in a village that really doesn't like you and still thinks you're inside of a prison camp.
I wouldn't have come here and get myself thrown in a jail if I didn't think I could escape from it.
Yes, you're welcome. And I just started walking again.
Egg on Bastion's face. So you guys make you're heading over towards the house that you're. It's very easy for you to find your way there. You know, it's you're picking through the trees. Very easy for you to find you over to that direction. As soon as you get there, you can smell, like, as soon as you get to the door and you open it up, you can literally smell that heavy scent of piss. It's like so my apologies. So there's like a lingering smell of piss that's very strong to your Witcher senses, and it's and you catch this almost immediately as well, Bastion. This isn't that kind of like, oh, somebody urinated inside here. This is like, no, it has the smell of fear to it. You know what I mean? And so immediately when you walk into the house and look around, you can see the place is relatively, while not well kept, is relatively undisturbed until you go over to the door that you walked in. You turn back and you actually look at the frame itself, and you see there's some gouge marks into the frame. Looks like 4 very large claws gouged into the frame and into the door itself when it's the back side of the door. Looking around, seeing the place, again, it doesn't look like anything was broken in here prior. At this point, you're welcome to start searching around and make investigation checks and whatnot if you would like. Leonard, you have a passive investigation of? What's your investigation skill?
Yeah, I have a +4.
But you also have the observant feat?
Yes.
So you have a passive of 19.
19?
Correct.
Okay. Cool. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I built it that way on purpose. That's right. My bad.
Correct. So as soon as you walk in the door, it's like that smell immediately catches you, and you probably say something along the lines, if you smell that, it's just kind of like even to yourself or offhandedly to Bastion, and that's when Bastion picks it up as well. And you start walking around. You're the one that notices the claw marks immediately when you walk in. It's kind of like you step in the doorway, you turn, you see them, and you reach and grab the door and pull it shut, and that's where you see the claw marks on there as well. And you guys,
it's on the inside of the door.
Correct. Like it was something that clawed its way out. Yep. Looking at the ground immediately outside before finishing the investigation inside, you can see the boot prints, though now they're a day old, or almost a day old. You can see the boot prints in the ground running off. They're going to be a bit hard to track, but you think you might be able to do it. You guys are welcome to stick together or separate. What do you wish to do? Investigate the house a little bit further, or follow the footprints?
Max was a guard, right?
I'm sorry. What was that? Max was a guard. Yes. And what were you saying, Dunce?
I was going to say, Leonard, what exactly are we looking for? I hopefully can help here.
Look, there are reports that someone here isn't what they say they are. Perhaps a werewolf? I'm not entirely sure. The contact wasn't entirely sure either. Although by the look of things, looks like whatever it is he's sure of now. Maybe he has something here we can find, a journal or weapons. Something we can use before we follow this trail. And I point down to the boot trail. You want to help me look?
I'm
just standing outside the door, just like arms crossed, hood out, just like waiting for you guys to finish.
All right, I'm gonna pop my head out and be like, Brant.
Yes.
Keeping watch.
Well, you said it smelled like piss inside. Really
very strong. Our nose is very sensitive to it as well. It's awful.
Yes, enjoy.
All right, I'm gonna start popping back in and then stop myself and pop back out. Be like, Leonard, by the way, and then I'll go back inside.
Okay, so you guys are able to search around inside here. Why don't you both roll for me investigation checks? So the way I'm going to be working your investigation skill there, Leonard, is as you walk into areas, I'm going to trigger things for you immediately. But then when you're actively searching, you still have to roll to get anything beyond the triggers. Bastion and Bran are not going to be able to pick up those triggers anywhere. What is Bastion's investigation? What's Bran's investigation? 2 and
-1.
Yeah, exactly. So they're rocking a 9 to 12 passive. Like they're you just pick things up instantly. Cool. And are you just keeping watch there, Bran?
Yeah, I'm just standing outside keeping general watch.
Awesome. You can.
That my second 18 in a row.
You are rolling very well. Yes, actually, you guys are all. This game is being very forgiving to you, which is pretty funny.
We'll play to our strengths.
The game realizes, like, hey, these guys need to just get out of here, so let's just facilitate that.
Exactly.
So, so you make your way throughout the house and start searching to find out like any information that you can. So, with your investigation, Leonard, of your 13, you don't find anything more than you have already found beforehand. Prior to the stream, you and I discussed other details that you had picked up, and so you see all those signs, and so you just kind of like reaffirm that same stuff that you had beforehand. You still can't discern whether or not it's a male or female. That's something that you haven't been able to discern thus far, but you can tell that, you know, everything else that we had discussed. Bastion, you're looking around trying to find some stuff. You do see some little notes, and anything you point out are things like, I don't know if Leonard, he's mentioned things that you already knew, so I don't know if you like kind of nod to it or you know, how it is that you react to him already giving you information you had prior. But more importantly, while Bastion's searching around, he actually happens to open up underneath the guy's bed. So he goes to like move the bed because he's super strong. He goes to like lift up and move the bed to the side. But as he moves the bed to the side, he notices that the wall at the base of the like where the floor meets the bed has is like a little bit off. And he goes over and kind of like with his fingernails pulls it open, and he actually finds a little stash of coin inside there. And pulling out that stash of coin, he finds 52 gold and a dozen silver pieces.
Leonard, I found money. I moved the bed and I found money.
My God, Bastion, that's amazing. How much?
I can't count so well. Would you help?
Okay, I'll count it. 52 gold and 11 silver.
And 12 silver, yeah.
12 silver. What was the contract reward?
So he was supposed to. So he had paid you originally 50 up front and 150 on completion, but obviously all of your stuff was taken. So
right. Okay, so sorry, I'm a little bit confused. When I got captured, did I purposefully leave my stuff somewhere that I know, like a stash, or was it confiscated? Like they got me?
They grabbed you. Your intention was to get captured. They acted way quicker than you expected. So you're pretty sure Carver has your stuff.
Okay.
Okay. So you grab up that small amount of gold that's there, and you guys can either divide it amongst yourselves right now or throw it onto one character sheet.
Mind if I hold it? And we could.
Yeah, you can hold on to
Yeah,
it.
there you go. Then just throw it in notes, and later on you can divvy it up onto the actual monetary section of the character sheets. Cool. Okay. So you guys are searching through the place. You don't find anything else noteworthy inside here beyond what it was that you had already discovered thus far. The only other thing that I would say kind of jumps out at you, and this is something that I think Leonard already picked up, maybe Bastion did too, is that there doesn't look like any struggle in here beyond the door being ripped open on the way out. It doesn't look like the thing fought its way in and made a mess, and that comes off as strange. Bastion's actually got a decent wisdom, so even he picks this up.
So, I guess I'll make an assumption that perhaps my contact was the werewolf, which would make sense if he was looking for help, to hire someone to help. But it strikes me as odd that he would hire a witcher, which is supposed to kill beasts, if he thought he was. I guess I'm just not entirely sure.
Perhaps he didn't want to be a threat to his friends or family.
Well, considering he's dead now, I don't think that's a issue. All right. You want to follow this boot trail? You want to grab Bran?
Sounds good.
Okay. Bran, do me a favor. Roll me a perception check for that time that you were out there.
Sure.
Okay, so while you're out there looking around, you don't really pick up the signs. I mean, you hear occasional, like, you know, fluttering of wings nearby, you know, go hoo, hoo. Some shuffling inside bushes, and even the sound of like a coyote or whatever, or coyote off in the distance. So nothing that really catches you off guard. Nothing that you look about, but nothing really jumps out at you.
Are we still invisible?
What were you saying?
Are we still invisible?
I mean, you guys were when you first walked into the camp, but either a matter of, because it's been a while, either a matter of just the sheer amount of time that's passed, or Bran being like, why is this even a thing anymore?
I probably would let the concentration lapse once they were inside.
Yeah.
And
if it hadn't run out already.
Become invisible again. So that. This is actually the first time while they're inside, and you're probably peeking in from time to time, Bran. This is where you first get like an actual look of who they are as they describe themselves beforehand. So you got Mr. Sexy Pants and Ugly McStarface. So, but you guys eventually come out of the house over to Bran.
Found what you were looking for?
Not exactly. I was hoping for a little bit more, but we did get a little bit of gold. I'm willing to share.
We got gold. I picked up a bed, and there was gold under it.
Yes, very good, Bastion. Again.
It was a pretty
All right,
stupid
that's
place
a
to hide,
start.
if you ask me.
I'm going to look at Bran and be like, it's only been a week, Bran. It's still not used to it.
Being out or being in?
Being with Bastion.
I imagine that takes a lifetime.
So how does 52 divide 3 ways?
17 each. One gets 18.
Fair
Well, I
enough.
found it.
Very good,
Yes, very
Bastion.
good. I gave him a pat on the shoulder.
But keep all of his coins. So you can let him have the 12 silver. He'll be happy with that. No, so you guys make your way to following the tracks. Is that the plan after you divide the gold up?
Yeah, so I guess Bastion gets the 18. The rest of us get 17.
That's 18
And then
gold.
12 is
is
4 each. Yep. Roll for me survival checks, and each one of you can roll this, unless somebody specifically says, I don't want to roll survival, I'd rather keep looking out just in case.
Uh-oh.
Sure, I'll roll.
All of us, or just who?
You're welcome to roll survival as well.
Okay.
Actually, because these are following tracks, I roll survival.
Normal, right?
Correct. Okay, so that's funny. You guys are like all right around the same mark. So you guys are following these tracks for a little bit. It's one of those things where you knew. So the tracks do get kind of lost in one area, but you did hear. It's one of those things where you would have been turned around and maybe gone the wrong direction, over towards town. But you explicitly heard them say that he got chased out into the woods before. So when you come to a point where you're like, I'm not sure if it should be this way or this way, but following the tracks, you remember that and you make the decision that leads you deeper into the woods, and that was the correct decision. You eventually pick up the trail again. When you finally do follow the tracks to their end, and this is a bit of a hike, it's like a solid, 400 or 500 yards into the woods themselves, beyond the truck just to get here. When you do find the body, it is torn apart. You have one of the arms has been removed and it's been thrown to the side. It actually takes a couple minutes to find where it was splashed into a little pool of water. You see the body has been completely ripped open. The head has been crushed by something with a lot of force behind it, as well as the large teeth, so on and so forth. But with the investigation that you see, and this is the first body that you've been able to find as fresh as it is, you notice that beyond like the little bits of consumption that's most likely happened from what are they called, scavengers like coyotes or something like that nearby, and you can see those markings pretty easily. You don't think this thing's eating the body at all. And with that being said, if the werewolf has not come to the point where it's actually consuming human flesh, you believe it does not know it's a werewolf at all yet. You're pretty solid in that conclusion. This person that has been cursed into the being lycanthropy, they have not come to the realization or the potential embracement of it. They're unaware, and so equally a danger to themselves as they are to those around them. Roll me an investigation check, whoever would like to.
I'll do it.
I'd like to look over the body and see if there's any valuables or stuff.
Sure.
Am I rolling investigation, or is he doing that?
All three of you, if you would like to. Just searching for different things.
What? Oh, there it goes. Wait.
Sometimes Roll20 lags really, really, really badly. Wow.
Jesus.
There we go.
Well,
we're out now.
So I imagine what Bastion does is he looks over, he sees the body, it's all torn up, and he's just kind of like, yep. And that's his investigation's like, I need to stay clean. I might see some other girls. You know what I mean? Like,
that guy is dead.
is he Bastion?
He's not very handsome, and this hasn't helped.
Brand's trying to check the pockets but can't find the pants. And Leonard, your investigation, excuse me, your investigation finally brings you to the conclusion that the person you finally got from the teeth marks themselves, that you can see how like wide apart they are, so on and so forth. You finally come to the conclusion you're pretty sure that the werewolf was male.
Okay, that does narrow it down. Do I find anything on Max? This is Max, right?
Correct. Unfortunately, you don't find anything of value on him. It's literally like his stuff was torn asunder at some point in time. Maybe he had coin or something like that in his pockets, but it's just been spilled about. If you spend time like doing perception checks to search the grounds nearby, you might be able to find things that are about, but not on his person.
I would definitely have a look around if I can find the pants.
Are we? What is the area we're in? Like what's around us?
This is the wooded area. So,
Okay.
you get a little bit of brush going on here, tall grass mostly, and the trees aren't too terribly dense. So it's one of those kind of like wooded areas you would have played in as a kid, where they're sparse enough that you guys can walk as pretty much as wide as you want, stepping around trees here and there, but not so wide that you can consistently have your arms open wide without ever touching them.
I'd imagine there's probably more tracks. Like it didn't just.
Yeah, I was thinking
tracks
that's
don't just end there.
Yep.
And that-
So Bastion being like, no, he's dead. Starts kind of looking around and trying to find more tracks. Bastion, why don't you actually roll me a survival check for that one? So while you guys are doing the investigation, he gave up ages ago. Brand is still trying to find valuables on the ground, and unfortunately doesn't find any. There is one thing of note that you actually do find, Brand. I'm sorry. You actually do find a dagger, a metal dagger, over about. So it looks like he was kind of like thrown as he fell. So it's a bit ahead of him. So you can go over and grab that. But while you're looking about Bastion, you do actually find the tracks. The tracks start to head north, like continuing to go even further away from the town itself.
Hey guys, I found the tracks.
That's great, Bastion. Actually, I'm very impressed. Here's the problem, though, guys. This is definitely a werewolf male, large by the size of the claw and teeth marks, but unless that dagger happens to be silver, we don't have anything to fight it with. So if we're going to continue down this path, we have to get supplies first. Or we just leave our demons at rest and let the town deal with it themselves. Perhaps they'll hire us later, when they get over their qualms with their kind.
Yes, that seems incredibly likely. Either way, you are not going to be able to put a stop to a werewolf in your undies.
Yeah. Forgot I was in my underwear.
Well, I might.
Yes, it would love a piece of you.
Brian, if it's not too much to ask, I really do appreciate the rescue, but perhaps you can break us back in and then subsequently break us back out. Get my stuff. Or with the gold we have, we can maybe buy some rudimentary supplies at another town.
We could have a look at Carver's house. It's like an acre from where you were being kept.
I have my suspicions about Carver.
It's most likely where he's keeping his stuff.
In his house.
Under his bed. Right, Bastion?
Well,
I only found the gold.
Do I know if there's an armory somewhere at the jail that they might have kept their stuff in, or if it's too small of a place to have that kind of thing?
There's way too small of a place for that. All the guards have kind of like the stuff has been given to them for the time being at least, and so they take their stuff home with them.
Well, if it's Witcher gear, I imagine the highest up would have first dibs at it, so probably would be at his house. I agree with this.
It would make a nice trophy on his mantelpiece.
Well, I do miss my sword.
Bastion, did you name your sword? I heard some of the different Witcher schools had names for their weapons.
You can name your sword?
You can name anything, Bastion. Well, almost anything.
I need to come up with a good name. For
All
when
right, well, think about that. We'll find our way there. You focus really hard on that one, Bastion.
I will.
Yeah.
Brand, did you get any info about the rest of the town layout? I have a little bit. Maybe we can piece together a map with our knowledge.
I can like give him the rough like tidbits and stuff that I've given him. Some of it relevant to Carter, some of it relevant to the mayor because people in positions of power. I'd be interested in that.
Okay, so we share what we have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we know?
I guess we figure out a route to like Carver from over here.
So again, Carver was only about an acre away from where that was, so it's pretty easy to make your way back. You're not going to follow the tracks of the werewolf, correct? You're just going to turn back and head towards town.
Mental map of where that body was, though, so we can go back there.
Yep. Do any of you guys have that background, the outsider background? I don't think any of you do.
Outsider background?
So one of the backgrounds that you can choose actually has the ability, you can easily navigate your way back to anywhere you've been before, but that doesn't mean others can't do it. That just means you have a mechanical ability to do so. But that's fine.
Can I, Hey, Bastion, would you mind maybe taking a pee on this tree over here so we can smell our way back?
If you think that's a good idea.
I just give them a strange look and I turn the other way.
We're Witchers, Brian. What's what we do? We pee.
All right, I pee on the tree.
This is awesome. It's canon now? It's canon?
No,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
entirely just fucking with
tree.
Bastion. I'm entirely
Pee on the
fucking
tree
with
anyway.
No, it's canon. Bastion pees on trees to find his locations. Like, I'm lost right now, Zip.
I don't actually believe in it. I just want Bastion to pee on trees.
Well, no, you have a rotting corpse to smell your way back here. It's just the fact that Bastion's dumb enough to... Sorry, this...
In Bran's mind, the Witcher sense is now a sense to smell pee, and you can do nothing to convince him otherwise.
In my mind, I'm just fucking with Bran, trying to make him think that that's what Witchers do, and I'm fucking with because it makes me feel nice. It's like, yes, I fooled him.
So,
yes, that's the accomplishment here, if we fooled him.
you make a mental note of how to get back here, which shouldn't be too difficult anyways.
Yeah. I totally disregard the scent of his urine, by the way. I don't keep track of that.
Oh, I imagine so.
You're already intimately familiar with it after a week.
After a
To be
week,
fair.
akin to his sense, yes.
Very strong.
So you make your way back towards the town. Now, the issue here is that you have to stay out of sight. Last time people saw Bran, he was walking out of town. But nobody's really going to question him still being about, because now enough people in the town have really seen him, and it seems to be, in the place where he's supposed to, that it should be fine. As long as nobody opens up the door to the prison, nobody should really know that they're gone. So there shouldn't be any alarms there. So you want to try to stealth your way back in that direction. You don't need any survival checks or anything like that to bring your way over there. It's going to be easy. But to get up to Carver's house, and I don't mean straight to it, but near enough to it that you can see it, not too far off at nighttime, you're going to have to roll me stealth checks, gentlemen. Bran, you're welcome to stealth as well if you don't want people to notice you approaching.
Do we get advantage, or is it normal?
This one's going to be... excuse me. I'll give you advantage for this one because you're so far off. You're just kind of getting within view. You're not sneaking up to the house yet. Bran, you travel...
It's also related. Yeah, I probably would.
Okay.
Yeah, why not? Oh, God.
I'm so glad I asked for advantage.
So Leonard, this is easy. This is nothing to you.
Cakewalk, yeah.
Yeah, cakewalk, exactly. It's catwalk. So Leonard, you make your way over towards the place without any signs, sounds, anything like that whatsoever. Bastion is actually surprisingly quiet when he wants to be. Unfortunately, he's not the most graceful of people you've ever met. And so he kind of, when he stops and hides behind a spot, his ass is hanging out. Or when he like steps over something, instead of like going around, he'll like step over something because it's like, oh, my muscles are really flexed when I do this. And so it like leaves him exposed longer than you'd expect. Fortunately, when you look around, kind of like rolling your eyes at the way he moves, nobody seems to be about in a way that would see him. However, Bran is an issue. I mean, Bran makes noises, moves slowly. Stealthing about is not his strong suit. And actually, it causes a bit of an issue because Bran is so bad at it that somebody nearby that happens to be walking through, and they're literally just like playing with a stick in their hands. They're walking by. They're like, huh? And they like look up over in that direction, very Metal Gear Solid style. Huh?
Doing?
They look over in the direction like, someone out there? Who is that? But they clearly haven't seen you guys yet.
Bastion. Axie.
Axie.
Click.
Yeah, let me find it real fast.
Do I know what school he is? Do I know he has Axie? Should I have said that?
He's Griffin. Though you guys don't have your medallions because they were taken from you. You know that he's Griffin, and I'm sure you guys talked about that stuff because you did speak a little briefly. It's over in the spells. Then you can click the Axie.
I know. I'm just trying to figure out which one I should.
Cantrip one, I believe.
Cantrip. Okay.
I believe. So you make yourself appear more menacing than usual, Mr. Advantage on charisma intimidation checks. Okay, what was the other one? What's the other one do?
Boom.
So choose living humanoid, wisdom saving throw. There you go.
Okay.
So it's not just stuns. There's also, I'm going to rephrase these to make sure they have a bit more fun to them than just these two abilities. So this second one is also going to be like the ability to like charm person. The D&D spell, right? So you're going to throw Axie at them. Let me roll my actual wisdom save. Is it? Yeah.
And I have to lower my signs recharge to 1, correct?
Only if you recharge it. You know what I mean? You can't do as an action. Yeah. Correct. Luckily for you guys, it's a lot of wisdom. Kind of like what I do for my Thursday night game. Lots of wisdom saves and. Okay. Oh, haha. I said DM instead of GM. And this is a low wisdom world, so it works in your favor. I press DM roll, not GM roll. So you step up and you do like your Axie sign, and immediately you can see them kind of like sway for a second. Clearly, the sign has hit them. Do you say anything?
Did it?
Bastion, you can pretty much tell him whatever you want now, and he'll believe you.
You know the parameters of your abilities.
Oh, okay, shit. Okay, I will just watch then. Wait.
Yep.
Yes. We are meant to be here. As you can tell by my friend, Bran, he is escorting us where we need to be.
Oh, okay. Well, back to work then. My house won't heat itself in the winter. And he looks over to Bran and he says, "Thanks, fella." And he turns and walks off. He walks off, still playing with the stick like it's the most exciting thing. And so now that because you have a moment, you can spend a round to kind of like recharge that sign in accordance to the mechanics, and that would reduce the one recharge for you, whatever.
Yeah, I will do that.
Okay. So you make your way over to the... to where it was that you had predetermined. Carver's house isn't far from where it is that you guys stop. You can see it off in the distance. Again, it is dark. You see it because the windows are lit up. There's a light on inside there. It's pretty late, but not like incredibly so. So it's probably around like 11ish at night, which is fairly late for people that get up early in the morning. There's a light on in there, but you don't see any movement or casting of shadows, so you don't know if anybody's necessarily awake. The light is, of course, flickering, so maybe it's just the fireplace. It is early fall, so it's not so cold that a person might need to light a fire, but,
Does he have windows on the house?
He does, actually. His house is not bad, though it's, again, in terrible shape and so on and so forth. So it has windows on either side of the house and a window in the back, but not the front door, not where the front door is. There's only one door.
I'll check under the bed.
Well,
So should I just walk in and I'll check under the bed?
Bastion, why don't you wait here for just a moment? I'll
Okay.
call you when I need you to move the bed. All right?
I can't wait to reunite with my sword. I can name it now. I know that I can name it now.
I'm gonna peer in the various windows I see and see if I can't see any people, perhaps.
You're going to roll me a stealth check to get up to the house now, to get the rest of the way
Sure.
there. This one's not advantage because this is going to be actually approaching it.
That's fine. Or hey, Brad,
Yeah?
mind making me invisible again?
Mind telling me what you're planning first?
Just gonna have a look. I'll come back. Don't worry about me. I'm a cat, after all. This is what I do.
Fair enough. And I will cast my last one of invisibility for the night. So you are invisible.
Sweet.
Okay. You're invisible, and you can start making your direction over there. Honestly, I'm not even going to have you... no, you can roll your stealth at advantage just in case you happen to trip over a rock and smash your face or something.
Well, that
You
would be
never
good.
know when you double that one.
Yep.
Well,
All right, well...
Not tonight.
I was like,
So-
I didn't need that. Sorry.
So you make your way over. There's a lot of advantage rolls so far in this campaign. We got to fix that. You got to make you guys
Playing
feel
very carefully.
So you guys make your way over to the house, over to Carver's house, and one of the first things you notice when you look inside the window, looking inside the windows in general, is that two of the windows cannot open. They're just glass that's set there to allow light to come in, and they have shutters to stop to be able to stop the light or stop from storms from shattering them or whatever. But they're non-functioning windows. They're just nice to have the daylight in the daytime. The final window, which is actually the one that goes out the back way, the way that you head towards, that one does open, and it's like that old style. It has like the rope pulley system, so it can open up, not the shutter style that open and close sideways. So it actually can lift open. Which is, again, really nice for what you would expect for this town. Better than you would expect for this town. Looking into the window and about, you do see that there is actually the what's called the fireplace is lit, and you actually do see a form sitting on a chair near the fire, staring at it for a little while. You don't really see it moving much. Roll me a perception check, please, Leonard. Oh, jeez.
Is that the
Guys,
first night?
yeah, yes, it is. The first 20 all day. This is crazy. So, this is going to be a feast or famine game. Watch. So, so you're looking in there and actually looking very closely. You can see that the person that's sitting on the chair, they're passed out. They're completely passed out. But not only are they passed out, the light is flickering. You believe that he might be naked. It looks like he has a blanket or something thrown over his legs, but definitely his upper body is bare skin. You do have dark vision, but it's still hard to see with like the casting of the shadows inside there. Because dark vision for Witchers is this, like, they don't do black and white, do they? That's not how it works, right?
No, it just kind of like saturates everything.
Exactly. So so you looking inside there, you don't see. So you see like the shadow, the way it's being cast on him. You can definitely see the form that's there. Bram would never be able to see inside this, but you can't see too much detail. You're pretty damn positive it's Carver that's in there, though. I mean, it's a dude in Carver's house, seemingly naked or at least topless, sleeping on a chair by a fire.
Okay.
It's Max. It's Max the whole time. His secret lover.
All right. Without saying anything, I think I'm just gonna just climb in the window, I guess, and go inside.
Sure. So you want to go through the window? So you go
Yeah.
over to open up the window, but you want to try to like shimmy this thing open as quietly as possible. This actually is, again, I have to be nice to you. To shimmy this thing open, you're going to be able to roll with advantage. The window is actually relatively new, because that's why it's the nice quality it is. It's actually a relatively new window
Wow.
he's been able to afford.
Wow.
New windows.
Ooh, this guy's living high.
Yeah.
So
that's-
this is actually going to be a straight sleight of hand check. That's what it's going to be for you. Sleight of hand.
With advantage? All right.
Mm-hmm.
Might be all right.
So you grab the window and you start shimmying it up. Now, while the window itself is actually new, houses shift, and so like the track that it goes down is not like a clean, perfectly smooth track. So there is a little bit of like a and then a little like squeaking as like two parts of the wood rub against each other for a few moments. As you do that and a little bit of squeak happens, you stop and you listen intently and you hear like a and a little bit of movement, which further confirms the fact that he's definitely asleep.
Definitely sleep. All right.
You're able to finish opening the thing the rest of the way in hopes that it didn't lighten his sleep or anything like that, and you can slip in.
All right.
Okay.
Take a look inside when I'm in. Take
Sure.
a look around.
Now, are you looking around the house to find like where your stuff is?
I'm trying to figure out what. So he's like, I saw him. Am I entering in the room that he was passed out in?
So these houses are very small, just because they're all, again, shitty homes. So the way it kind of works is imagine the whole house as one room with coming in from the side, about a quarter wall from each side that almost makes it look like a double parlor kind of look, where like, so one room is, we're going to call it like where he eats and where the fireplace is, where he sits and stuff like that. So kind of like living room dining with a small place to put his dirty dishes or whatever for him to like carry out and clean with waters or whatever. The other half of the house is where he has like a small bookcase with a couple of books on it, his bed, and some other supplies kind of like hanging by the door. It's not very large in there.
Okay.
You're on the side of the house where the fireplace and he is.
Okay.
Immediately upon stepping into the house and looking around, just because you kind of like pick things up immediately, one of the first things that you smell is blood. You kind of climb in and just kind of like, like your eyes, like the slits of your eyes kind of narrow. You catch that scent of blood, something that really pulls you in, almost makes you salivate as you as like all of your senses start to go off, and your fingertips almost start to tingle as everything's coming alive for you. Looking about the room, you can see the place is a bit disheveled. For somebody as you've known him, he seems to be pretty stringent, and looking about like how the bookcases and whatnot is set up, seems to be somebody that's pretty well put together. That doesn't change the fact that the house is in a little bit of a disarray, nothing crazy. Above the fireplace, you see two swords crossed over there. And those swords, sorry, did I say two swords? I think it's actually a sword and a hammer. Right? No, it's two swords. I have to ask you guys, because I never actually went over this with you. What is your silver sword made out of, Leonard? What is it?
It's made out of silver.
Sorry, what is it? Is it a sword?
Yeah, it's a silver sword. Yes.
Long sword, short sword. I honestly never did this, and I'm terrible. Make fun of me. Sean.
Yeah, long sword.
Long sword. And how about you, Bastion?
For both of mine, or just the silver one?
So just a silver long sword?
The silver one's a great sword.
For you, it's a great sword?
Yeah.
Okay. So so you have a silver greatsword. So the way it looks on top of the over the fireplace is you have like a claymore. You know what I mean? Sitting over the fireplace. It actually uses a bit of like a stone sticking out where like a mantle would be to help take in its weight, as well as a couple of like iron pegs to like really hold it up, because the thing is just massive and heavy. Look, it's like 12 pounds. You know what I mean? It's like massive and heavy looking up there. And then instead of crossing, running alongside of it, almost like a smaller version of it is your longsword that's sitting just above where it is. Honestly, with how you stand, just barely within your reach if you were to walk over and reach up. But you see those two swords sitting there like prizes.
Okay. I'm gonna walk up near the fireplace and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna take a really good look at Carver's hands.
Sure. So you start creeping your way over to the fireplace. I imagine you're trying to be as quiet as possible.
Absolutely.
Roll me a stealth check, please. You're right next to him, so you don't have advantage.
All right.
But, for somebody to wake up is not very easy. He wakes up! No, you go walking over towards the fireplace, and you're making your way over, so you're like right next to it, and then you turn your back to it so you can really get a good look at him. Down at his hands, which are well lit by the fireplace. and they are covered in blood. You can see it there. You can see bits of flesh on his around his fingernails and stuff like that. Like you could just see it on him. He's not wearing any clothing, as far as you could tell. The blanket that was over his legs is like draped off enough to reveal maybe a bit too much. And you're like, nope, he's definitely naked there. And just every part of him, he's in like it seems to be a very, very deep sleep. Roll me a perception really quickly.
Sure.
Yeah, and he seems to be in a very, very deep sleep.
Okay.
Hear that like...
All right.
Me and Bastian are still outside, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
You saw... so Bastion would have seen the window open from afar. Actually, you would too, because of the light coming through it. And you would have seen him climb... but you wouldn't see him climb in, obviously, because he's invisible.
I'm invisible.
We can put two and two together.
I imagine so.
So while we're out waiting here, I just turned to Bastian real quick and I ask, "What do you know about werewolves?"
I know that they're bad, and I know how to track them.
Do you know if they're magical in any way?
Would I know this, actually?
No.
Okay.
They're beasts.
I do not know. Or are you saying no, or as in I don't know, or...
They are not magical.
No, they are not.
Fair enough.
So you guys are just waiting out there? You guys are just gonna hang out for a minute? Okay, good.
Let sleeping werewolves lie.
Good.
Okay, so what do you do?
Are they near the window? Are you guys near the window?
No, they're a bit back.
A little bit further back, yeah.
Okay. See, I'm conflicted. All right, here's what I'll do. I'll just completely break stealth, jump up and grab the sword off the mantle, and just try to really quickly get it in my hands and point it at him, at Carver, that is. Mm-hmm. So that'll be my first move.
So I'm sorry, you take what out and point at him? I'm sorry?
I'm gonna jump up for the sword, just like lunge for it, grab it as quickly as I can, and start pointing it at Carver.
Gotcha. Roll me an acrobatics check.
All right, I can do that.
Oh, so like, give me a 1. Give me something bad. Give me something. So you jump up. It's one of those things where you jump up and you kind of like tip it up, so it comes off of the pegs that are there, and then grab it as it's starting to come down, and then you land. Roll me a stealth check again. This time with disadvantage.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm not worried about keeping stealth here.
This is ridiculous. So, stealth check with disadvantage to kind of lands with the sword, like pointed at the guy, just kind of at the ready in case you need to do anything. And you see he's like, like clearly he reacts a little bit. Roll me a perception check one more time, sir.
Okay. It never wakes up.
Oh, that's disadvantage. My bad.
Oh, he Ericked. Oh, first Eric of the game.
Oh.
What was it again? Perception?
Correct.
Well,
Yep.
there you go.
Nope, you're fine. So you see that he doesn't seem to wake up yet.
Okay. My plan was to totally break stealth here, but let me think. If I have it? Should I use it? Is there anything I can do with it?
Coup de grace.
You know what? No, I'll just because this was all supposed to be really fast, so I'll just do it as if I hadn't noticed. I'm just gonna yell. I'm gonna be like, "Brand, Bastion, coming quick!"
Okay, so when you yell that, Brant Bastion coming quick, once again, it's kind of like a... But then you notice that the nose is twitching, like a lot, and it's not necessarily the sound that wakes him up. It's like as you're yelling that, and everything, the sound wakes him, just kind of like pulls him enough out of REM that his nose, his other senses, really picks up that something else is there. And it's like one eye first, and then turns his head full on at you, and he's like, what the and why don't we take our next break, and we'll see you guys in just a couple of minutes to find out what happens as they're in the Carver's home, potentially a werewolf. We'll know soon.